Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Here you can see the title. I have got this title, so it was ready, and I try to find the content to it. And I wouldn't say road safety data, I would say road crash data or road accident data. Nowadays, it's trendy, call this data road safety data, but it's not a huge problem. So I have a bad news and a good news for you. The bad news is that it will be a methodological presentation, which is not very exciting. But the good news is that it won't be too long. And I hope I could find some interesting example to illustrate the different data and indicators. So this is the content of my presentation. I won't read it. Let's go further. So first, the easiest way to evaluate the situation, to analyze the absolute numbers. And we have accident data and victim data, and we have exposure data as well. Here in the first picture, we can see the accident and victim data. So we have number of personal injury accidents and the number of fatal accidents, number of serious injury accidents, and slight injury accidents. And the victims, number of fatalities, it means people killed, number of people killed, number of seriously and slightly injured. Then the exposure data. So we need this data if we try to express the risk of being killed on the being involved in an accident. And these data are the following: number of vehicle kilometers. This is the best one. It expresses best the danger being involved in an accident. The second best, or it's also a very good indicator. It depends on the aim of the analysis: number of passenger kilometers, then the number of motor vehicles, number of driving licenses, and number of inhabitants. And maybe the fuel consumption can be used also to assess the number of vehicle kilometers, but we need a very complicated algorithm for this. So some examples, as I mentioned. This example shows the changes in absolute numbers in case of Hungary. So here you can see the development of the number of motor vehicles. This is the number of personal injury accidents, and this is the number of fatalities. And you can see the different sections or the different time periods in case of Hungary. And unfortunately, now we have increasing numbers of personal injury accidents and fatalities as well. And of course, the number of motor vehicles is also increasing. We had a very good period between 2013 and 2006, like most countries. It's partly due to the economic problems as well. So it's another example for relative frequencies or percentages. This is the change in the number of fatalities, and unfortunately we can't read it very well, but they are the EU member countries, and this indicator is used by the ETSC, European Transport Safety Council, for ranking the countries according to the first EU target. I think all of you know this. It was minus 50% fatalities between 2011 and 2020. Here you can see the Hungarian value. It was 40%, and the average for all EU member countries was 44%. Just a short remark: it's not the best indicator for such a ranking, because it's only a percentage, and as you will see a little bit later, the number and the severity of road accidents depends on a lot of factors, among others on a lot of outside factors. which are not traffic specific and not road safety specific. I will mention some examples, of course. And then relative numbers or rates. So the first one is the so-called accident density, which means the number of accidents divided by the length of the network or length of the section. And it's an almost linear relationship, not entirely, but almost. We can say practically it's a linear relationship. So here you can see the annual average daily traffic, vehicle per day, and here the accident density. And of course, this line is the motorway, then the rural road, and the different urban roads. And the other very important, maybe the most important relative number is the accident rate. Here you can see the different numbers. Accident number A, also annual average daily traffic, and the length of the network. And here you can see the curve. Here we have to use the vehicle per hour, and here you can see the accident risk. And maybe in the first moment it seems a little bit funny. How is it possible? The higher the traffic volume, the lower the risk of the accident. Of course, here we speak about the personal injury accidents, and in case of high traffic volume, the speed is very low, and therefore, in this case, we can't have injuries and fatalities. Then relative numbers or rates. Again, we have two different rates of fatalities. The first one is the number of fatalities divided by the number of vehicle kilometers. This is the best indicator. If we don't have reliable data for vehicle kilometers, like in case in Hungary and maybe in most V4 countries, we can use the number of motor vehicles. This is an example for the state roads in Hungary, and you can see the changes. In 2001 was the introduction of the increased speed limits outside built-up areas, and you can see the immediate effect of this change, and then a very good period, and now, unfortunately, a slight increase again. Also, the second kind of fatality rates, ranking the countries based on fatality rates, it means number of fatalities divided by the number of motor vehicles. Unfortunately, we can't be very proud of this. So you can see here Czech Republic, Poland, and so on, and it's a very, very bad value. And here you can see the best countries: Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, United Kingdom, Netherlands, and so on. And it's the other kind of relative number is the so-called mortality rate, when the number of fatalities divided by the number of inhabitants. This figure is taken from an ETSC publication, and here you can see the values of mortality rate for different EU member countries and for 4 other countries as well. And you can see the average. And in this ranking, Hungary has a quite reasonable place, but we have to know that this rate is a little bit misleading, because it doesn't take into account the levels of motorization of the countries, and I would say it's a serious methodological problem. And last but not least, the road safety performance indicators. We know that a lot of outside factors have influence on the number and severity of road accidents, as I already mentioned. For example, economic situation, extreme weather conditions, demographic changes, and so on. And therefore, we need so-called road safety performance indicators in order to differentiate the effects of the different factors. And these performance indicators help to better understand the factors, the causes leading to accident, and they make it possible to compare the countries from different points of view, among others from road safety point of view as well. Here you can see the groups of the road safety performance indicators. These indicators were elaborated in 2006, I don't remember exactly, in the framework of Safety Net project. It was called the Road Safety Observatory of the EU. And here, alcohol, drugs, speed, protective system, daytime running lights, passive vehicle safety, roads, trauma management, and some examples. This figure shows the development of the safety belt wearing rate in Hungary in case of the front seats, back seats, and all seats in passenger cars. And the lowest value was registered in 1999, and from this time on we have a increasing trend until 2013. In 14 we couldn't have measurements, but the latest values for 2015 are unfortunately lower than the values in 2013. So the highest value was registered in 2013 in the history of the Hungarian road traffic. And it's other performance indicator, the usage rate of the child safety seats. And here you can see the development of the children, percentage of children protected by child safety seat, and the inverse curve is the percentage of the children unprotected. And here you can see the children protected by adult safety belt. And here also we can experience a negative development in the last year. In 2015, unfortunately, there was a decrease in the number of protected children. And daytime running lights. So long time ago, in 2013, we had some measurements, and now in 2015 we can experience also the deterioration, the decrease in the percentage of daytime running light users, not only country roads and motorways where it is obligatory in Hungary. It's very interesting that inside built-up areas there is an increase, which I can't explain. But it's good, it's a good news. And some international comparisons for safety belt wearing rates. Unfortunately, we have data for 2015 just for Hungary, and here you can see the values of other countries, and here you can see the change, which is not very good news in case of Hungary. So following the rule and the road, the risk being caught in the act is very low, unfortunately. So in my opinion, we need better enforcement, police enforcement, more speed cameras, more policemen, and so on, because, and of course, more education, more road safety campaigns. So it's the example for the roads inside built-up areas, the other one for the roads, for the rural roads. Here we also are the last one. And here the case for motorways. And yeah, here is a very small increase. And the difference is not very big, but we are the last one, unfortunately. So that's all, my ladies and gentlemen. I hope it won't be too boring. And if you have questions, I will try to answer them. Thank you very much.